The deliberate silence. The first sign came at precisely 3:17 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, when Commander Elena Vasquez's quantum detection array began registering unusual fluctuations in the fabric of space-time. She stood motionless in the vast underground complex beneath the Atacama Desert, her eyes fixed on the holographic display showing ripples of energy cascading across the solar system. These weren't random cosmic events. They were deliberate probes. Confirm distance and vector, she ordered, her voice calm despite the implications. Lieutenant Kagoa's fingers danced across the haptic interface. Approximately 2.3 light-years out, Commander. Multiple sources. Pattern suggests systematic scanning. Elena nodded. After 15 years of waiting, it had finally happened. Earth had been found. She pressed her palm against the biometric scanner, unlocking the highest security protocols. Initiate Obsidian Protocol, she commanded. Across the planet, in similar facilities buried beneath mountains, oceans, and deserts, identical commands were being issued. Beneath the Siberian permafrost, Director Alexei Sokolov confirmed the order. In the underwater complex off the coast of New Zealand, Dr. Maya Wairamu acknowledged. From a secret installation hidden in the Ethiopian highlands, General Tuadros Demissi gave his authorization. Humanity had spent the last 3 decades preparing for this moment, ever since the first alien signals had been detected by a team of astronomers in 2097. Not the benign mathematical sequences of hopeful first contact scenarios, but something far more concerning: encrypted tactical communications. Earth was not being invited to join a galactic community. It was being assessed, catalogued, and potentially targeted. The response had been unprecedented. Former adversaries had united, pooling resources and knowledge in a secret global initiative called Project Umbra. Its mission: to develop the technology to hide an entire planet. In the command center of the North American Defense Grid, General Hannah Morrison watched as her technicians initiated the shutdown sequence. Time to disappearance, she asked. 17 minutes, General, came the response. Quantum masking fields are powering up. Civilian infrastructure transition to isolated networks is at 60%. Around the world, a carefully orchestrated blackout began. To the average citizen, it would appear as a global technical malfunction, annoying but temporary. Digital billboards in Times Square flickered and died. Tokyo's neon cityscape dimmed. The constant electronic hum of human civilization began to fade. But behind this apparent failure lay humankind's greatest technological achievement. Quantum displacement fields, based on technology developed from the alien signals themselves, began to envelop the planet. These fields didn't simply block Earth's technological signature. They warped space-time around it, creating a perceptual blind spot that would render the planet effectively invisible to external observation. In orbit, satellite networks reconfigured, their emissions redirected inward rather than outward. On the far side of the Moon, massive energy projectors powered up, creating a false electromagnetic signature that would mask Earth's actual position. Displacement field stabilizing at 82%, reported Dr. Liang Wei from the Beijing Control Center. Electromagnetic signature damping complete. Elena watched the countdown clock on her display. In less than 10 minutes, Earth would appear to simply vanish from the galaxy's detection systems. A civilization that had announced its presence through decades of radio transmissions, satellite launches, and increasing energy consumption would seem to have suddenly winked out of existence. Any response from the probing vessels? She asked. None yet, Commander, replied Lieutenant Kagoa. But their scanning intensity has increased by 27%. They've noticed something's happening. 200 million miles away, aboard the Galactic Council survey vessel Distant Observer, Captain Zorak stared at his sensor displays in confusion. The technologically developing world they had been monitoring was exhibiting impossible readings. What do you mean, disappearing? He demanded of his science officer, a methane-breathing Calixi whose tentacles were frantically adjusting the ship's sensor arrays. Precisely that, Captain. Technician Rule replied, her translation implant converting her chemical signals into standard galactic speech. The electromagnetic output of the planet has decreased by 64% in the last 10 minutes and continues to fall rapidly. Natural disaster, solar flare, technological collapse. Zorax proposed, mandibles clicking in agitation. Negative on all counts, Mrul responded. There is no indication of natural phenomena that could cause this effect, and a civilization-wide collapse would show chaotic patterns. This is structured, deliberate. Zorax's compound eyes narrowed. In his 3 centuries serving the Galactic Council's Survey Court, he had never encountered anything like this. Primitive species didn't simply disappear. They evolved, they expanded, or they destroyed themselves, but always in predictable patterns. Alert the Council, he ordered. Request additional survey vessels. Whatever is happening on that planet requires further investigation. As the distant observer transmitted its urgent message back to Galactic Council headquarters, Earth completed its disappearing act. The quantum displacement fields reached full power, bending light, radiation, and other detectable emissions around the planet. To any external observer, Earth now appeared to be nothing more than an unremarkable rocky world, devoid of technology, civilization, or any indication of intelligent life. In the Atacama facility, Alina watched the final readings with a mixture of triumph and apprehension. Quantum displacement complete, she announced to her team. Earth is now dark. On screens around the command center, they could see the alien vessel's increasingly frantic scanning attempts, like predators that had suddenly lost the scent of their prey. The probes passed harmlessly through the quantum displacement field, detecting nothing but natural background radiation. And now, Alina said softly, we watch and we learn. For decades, humanity had feared discovery by a technologically superior alien civilization. Now, in a stunning reversal, they had become the hidden observers. Every scan, every transmission, every bit of alien technology being deployed to find them was being carefully recorded and analyzed. The hunters had become the hunted, and they didn't even know it. In the chambers of the Galactic Council, alarms spread rapidly. Located in a massive orbital structure around a neutron star at the galaxy's core, the Council chamber housed representatives from the 17 most powerful species in the known galaxy. Emergency protocols brought them together within hours of receiving the distant observer's report. A developing world doesn't simply vanish, declared Hymos Trellick, the crystalline being who led the Council. This is unprecedented. The humans were primitive, countered Ambassador Vox of the mercantile hegemony, his scaled skin reflecting the chamber's blue light. Their most advanced technology was barely capable of reaching their own lunar satellite. They posed no threat. Yet they have somehow developed technology that renders an entire planet undetectable to our most sophisticated scanning systems, pointed out Director Celine of the Sirius Collective, her voice resonating directly into the minds of the assembled representatives. This suggests either a massive technological leap or external interference, completed Hymos Trellick. We must consider the possibility that another spacefaring power has made contact with this species and shared advanced technology. The Council chamber erupted in debate. The idea that someone had violated the non-interference protocols regarding developing worlds was disturbing. Even more concerning was the possibility that humans had somehow achieved this technological breakthrough independently. I propose we dispatch the research vessel Axiom, suggested Ambassador Vox. Its scanning technology is several generations more advanced than the survey fleet. Agreed, said Hymos Trellick, and we should assemble a first contact team. If the humans have indeed achieved this level of technology, they may be ready for formal introduction to the galactic community. As the Council made its plans, they remained unaware that their every word, their every decision, was being carefully monitored by the very species they were discussing. Deep beneath the Ethiopian highlands, General Tuodros Demissi watched the translated Council proceedings with grim satisfaction. The quantum entanglement array developed by Project Umbra not only hid Earth, but also allowed them to intercept and decode alien communications across vast distances. They're sending their best research vessel, he reported to the other Project Umbra leaders in their secure virtual conference, and preparing a first contact team. Perfect, replied Director Sokolov from Siberia. Let them come. Every ship they send reveals more of their technology, their protocols, their weaknesses, and their intentions, added Dr. Wyermu. Let's not forget, we still don't know if they represent a threat. General Morrison's holographic avatar nodded. That's precisely why we stay dark. We watch, we learn, and we prepare. For now, Earth remains silent. As the decisions of the Galactic Council rippled across the stars, humanity waited in its self-imposed darkness, watching and preparing for whatever would come next. The day Earth went dark marked not its end, but the beginning of a new chapter in human history, one where humanity would define its own place in the cosmos, on its own terms. The Watchers in Darkness. 3 weeks after Earth's disappearance, the Galactic Council research vessel Axiom arrived at the edge of the solar system. Unlike the relatively modest survey ships, the Axiom was a marvel of advanced technology. A city-sized vessel housing the finest scientific minds and most sophisticated equipment the Council could muster. Commander Shira Kwan stood in the observation dome of the Antarctic Monitoring Station, watching the massive alien ship materialize from faster-than-light travel. Through the quantum displacement field, Earth scientists could observe everything while remaining completely hidden. Magnificent, she whispered, genuinely impressed by the elegant design of the vessel. It seemed to flow rather than be constructed, suggesting materials and engineering principles far beyond current human understanding. Dr. Victor Okafor, the station's chief science officer, nodded in agreement. Their propulsion system alone is centuries ahead of our theoretical models. The energy output is extraordinary, but not unattainable, Shira replied, her eyes never leaving the alien ship. That's what matters. Not unattainable. This had been the philosophy guiding Project Umbra from the beginning. While the public face of human technological development proceeded at its normal pace, a shadow effort had been analyzing the alien communications intercepted decades earlier, reverse engineering principles, and developing technologies that had remained hidden from the world at large. Quantum computing, gravity manipulation, dark energy harnessing. Advancements that would have seemed like magic to the average citizen were operational realities within the secret facilities of Project Umbra. Not quite matching alien capabilities, but far closer than any external observer would have believed possible. They're deploying scanning drones, reported Lieutenant Commander Zhang, monitoring the sensor feeds. Much more sophisticated than the previous survey vessels, these appear to be using some form of tachyon-based scanning technology. Shira smiled. Good. That's new. Record everything. Aboard the Axiom, Science Director Lyrax watched with growing frustration as the scanning drones returned with the same perplexing results. According to every instrument, the third planet of this unremarkable yellow star should have housed a developing technological civilization. Historical records from just months earlier showed radio transmissions, artificial satellites, and energy productions consistent with early industrial development. Now, nothing. Just a barren, rocky world with primitive organic life forms, but no indication of intelligent civilization. Could they have destroyed themselves? Suggested junior researcher Ket, her 6 limbs manipulating multiple holographic displays simultaneously. Not without leaving evidence, Lyrax replied, his bioluminescent skin pulsing with agitation. A civilization-ending event would leave radiation signatures, atmospheric changes, debris fields. There's nothing. Perhaps they were taken. Offered Fleet Commander Dorn, the military liaison assigned to the mission. His species' natural paranoia made him constantly alert to potential threats, even in seemingly empty star systems. Lyrax's skin flashed dismissively. An entire planetary population, removed without a trace. Impossible. No known species possesses technology that could accomplish such a feat without leaving evidence. Then what is your explanation, Science Director? Dorn challenged. Lyrax had none, and that disturbed him more than any theory, however outlandish. In his 3 centuries of scientific exploration, he had never encountered a mystery so complete, so defiant of analysis. Deploy the phase-shifted probes, he ordered. If conventional scanning can't penetrate whatever is hiding this world, perhaps a different approach will yield results. As the Axiom launched its next wave of sophisticated probes, Elena Vasquez watched from the Atacama facility with growing concern. These new devices operated on principles that might potentially detect the edges of the quantum displacement field. Probability of detection. She asked the quantum physics team. 23% and rising, replied Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka, his eyes fixed on the simulation models. These probes are using phase-shifted tachyon beams that could, theoretically, interact with our displacement field. Elena didn't hesitate. Activate the countermeasures. Around Earth's orbit, hidden satellites that had remained dormant during the initial alien surveys suddenly came to life. Using technology developed from the intercepted alien communications, they began generating false returns, phantom readings that would confuse and misdirect the alien probes. On the Axiom, alarms sounded as the probe readings went haywire. "What's happening?" demanded Fleet Commander Dorn. "The probes are detecting something," junior researcher Kep reported, her appendages moving frantically across her instruments. "Multiple technological signatures, but they keep shifting position. Nothing stays solid long enough to get a fix. Some kind of interference." Lyrax questioned, moving to examine the readings himself. "If it is, it's unlike any natural phenomenon I've ever encountered," Chet replied. "The patterns suggest intelligence." Dorn finished for her, his warrior instincts suddenly alert. "We're being actively countered." Lyrax's skin pulsed with a complex pattern of colors that the translation systems couldn't fully interpret, the equivalent of scientific profanity in his native language. Impossible. The technological level of this species couldn't possibly. And yet, Dorn interrupted. "Here we are, with our advanced probes being effectively blinded by something." In the Antarctic station, Shura watched the alien vessel's response with satisfaction. "They've pulled back their probes. They're regrouping." Victor nodded appreciatively. The phantom return system worked perfectly. They detected something, but nothing coherent enough to confirm the presence of technology. "How long before they try again with something more sophisticated?" Shura asked. "Based on our analysis of their technology curve, probably about 12 hours, Victor replied. "They'll need to recalibrate, perhaps modify their approach." Shira turned to the communications officer. "Alert all Umbra facilities. I want a full Security Council meeting in 2 hours. This game of hide and seek is about to get more complicated. In orbital facilities, hidden behind Earth's moon, in underwater complexes, and in mountain bunkers, the brightest minds of humanity worked tirelessly, analyzing every bit of data gathered from the alien vessel. Each scan, each probe, each communication intercepted was a piece of the puzzle, revealing more about their visitors' capabilities and intentions. Meanwhile, in the chambers of the Galactic Council, unease was growing. The Axiom's reports of anomalous readings had triggered heated debate among the representatives. These findings suggest technological capabilities far beyond what our initial surveys indicated, argued Ambassador Vox. If the humans possess technology that can confound our best scanning systems, they may represent a significant unknown factor in the sector. Or it could be something else entirely, countered Director Celine. "We should not jump to conclusions based on limited data." "Limited data is precisely the problem," Hymos Trellick pointed out. "We cannot make informed decisions without understanding what has occurred on this world." After hours of debate, the Council reached a decision. The Axiom would be authorized to take more direct action, including sending surface probes to the planet itself. When this communication reached the Axiom, Fleet Commander Dorn felt a surge of satisfaction. Finally, a more direct approach. "Prepare a landing team," he ordered. "We'll put boots on the ground and see for ourselves what's happening on this mysterious world." Science Director Lyrax seemed less enthusiastic. "We should proceed with caution, Commander. If there is indeed an advanced civilization hiding from us, direct contact could be unpredictable." "That's precisely why I'll be leading the expedition personally," Dorn replied. "If there's any threat to be faced, I prefer to meet it head-on." As preparations for the landing mission began aboard the Axiom, the leaders of Project Umbra faced a critical decision. They're planning a physical reconnaissance, Alina informed the Emergency Council meeting. "Atmospheric shuttles, ground teams, direct observation. Can our displacement field hide us from physical observation?" asked General Morrison. Dr. Tanaka shook his head. "Not completely. The quantum displacement primarily affects electromagnetic detection, radiation signatures, and similar scanning methods. Physical observation is more complicated." "Then we have three options," Director Sokolov stated matter-of-factly. "We can attempt to misdirect their landing parties to unpopulated areas and maintain the illusion of an empty world. We can prepare for potential hostile contact if they discover our presence. Or we can reveal ourselves," completed Dr. Wairamu. "On our terms." The council chamber fell silent as the implications of each option were considered. For decades, humanity had prepared for the worst, for the possibility that first contact might mean subjugation or extinction. The decision to hide had been driven by the need for time to learn, to develop, to prepare. "What have we learned about their intentions?" asked General Demisi. Alina brought up a holographic display showing the analysis of intercepted communications. "Their discussions suggest scientific curiosity rather than military intent. The vessel itself is primarily a research platform, though it does have defensive capabilities. And the Galactic Council they report to. Diverse. 17 major species, hundreds of minor ones. Their interactions seem to be primarily diplomatic and commercial rather than conquest-oriented. However," she added cautiously, "their protocols clearly categorize species by technological development level, with different rights and restrictions at each tier." "And where would we fall in their hierarchy?" asked General Morrison. "Based on what they believe about us." "Near the bottom," Alina replied. "Primitive, pre-FTL, barely worth noting except as potential future trade partners once we've advanced enough." A bitter smile crossed Director Sokolov's face. "Little do they know." "So we have a choice," summarized Dr. Wairamu. "Continue hiding and risk detection on unfavorable terms, or control the narrative by revealing ourselves selectively." The council members exchanged glances, centuries of human history, and the weight of their species' future hanging in the balance. "I propose a third option," Alina said finally. "We reveal just enough to intrigue, but not enough to expose our full capabilities. We make first contact, but on our terms, controlling the flow of information." As the council debated this proposal, in space above them, the Axiom prepared its landing craft. The watchers in darkness would soon need to decide whether to step into the light or to pull the shadows even tighter around them. The revelation. Dawn broke over the Serengeti plain, the African sun painting the savanna in gold and amber. It was here, in this cradle of human evolution, that Project Umbra had decided to orchestrate humanity's first official contact with extraterrestrial intelligence. The location had been carefully chosen. Symbolic of humanity's origins, yet far from major population centers or critical infrastructure. A small research outpost had been hastily constructed, designed to appear as a modest scientific facility studying local wildlife. In reality, it was a sophisticated stage, set for the most important diplomatic engagement in human history. Dr. Amara Osi adjusted her simple khaki outfit, designed to project the image of a developing world scientist rather than a key figure in humanity's most advanced technological program. Around her, a dozen other researchers, actually elite specialists from Project Umbra, performed their assigned roles with practiced casualness. Landing craft approaching, came the voice of Lieutenant Commander Zhang through her nearly invisible earpiece. 3 minutes to touchdown. Understood. Amara replied softly. Is everyone in position? All units confirmed. Quantum displacement field selectively deactivated over your location only. To the aliens, it will appear as if a small research station simply reappeared. Amara took a deep breath. The plan was precisely calculated. After days of fruitless scanning, the alien landing party would suddenly detect a small human outpost, just one tiny facility that had somehow escaped their previous detection. It would seem like a malfunction in their equipment, or perhaps a quirk of Earth's magnetic field that had temporarily hidden this insignificant installation. What they wouldn't know was that the rest of human civilization remained concealed behind the quantum displacement field, watching and analyzing their every move. The alien shuttle descended with surprising grace for its size, kicking up swirls of dust as it settled onto the savannah 100 meters from the research station. Its design was organic, almost living in appearance, curves and flowing lines rather than the angular utilitarian aesthetics of human spacecraft. "My God, it's beautiful," whispered one of the researchers, momentarily breaking character. "Stay focused," Amara cautioned. "Remember the protocol." The protocol was simple: appear surprised but not terrified, technologically competent but not advanced, curious but not threatening. Every word, every gesture had been planned to project a very specific image of humanity, one carefully crafted to serve Earth's strategic interests. A hatch opened in the alien vessel's side, extending into a ramp. 3 figures descended, each strikingly different from the others. The first was clearly the leader, tall and militaristic in bearing with iridescent scales covering a humanoid frame. Behind came a slender being whose skin seemed to shift colors with its movements, followed by a 6-limbed creature moving with precise, mechanical efficiency. "That confirms our intelligence," Amara noted quietly. A Vorn military commander, a Lyrixian scientist, and a Ketelan technician. The aliens approached cautiously, devices in hand that were undoubtedly scanning the humans and their facility. Amara stepped forward, separating herself from the group as the designated representative. "Hello," she called out in English, her voice steady despite the historic significance of the moment. "Welcome to Earth." The aliens paused, their devices obviously translating. The scaled leader stepped forward. "I am Fleet Commander Dorn of the Galactic Council vessel Axiom," he replied, his words processed through a device that rendered them in slightly stilted English. "You are aware of our existence." Amara allowed her expression to show calculated surprise. "We detected your ship several days ago. We've been observing it from our modest facility here. This is unprecedented for us." The color-shifting alien moved closer, its skin pulsing with what seemed to be excitement. "I am Science Director Lyrax. Your entire planet disappeared from our sensors. How is this possible?" Amara furrowed her brow in apparent confusion. "Disappeared? I don't understand. We've been here conducting our research, though we did experience some unusual equipment malfunctions recently." The third alien, the 6-limbed Ketelan, was moving methodically around the perimeter of the research station, its multiple appendages operating different scanning devices simultaneously. "Commander," it called back to Dorn, "I'm detecting no other human settlements or technology within scanning range. It's as if this is the only human presence on the planet." Dorn's reptilian eyes narrowed slightly. "That cannot be correct. Our historical scans showed widespread human civilization." Amara maintained her puzzled expression. "There are over 9 billion humans on Earth, with cities and technology across the planet. Your sensors must be malfunctioning." As the conversation continued, the full Council observation team aboard the Axiom watched with growing confusion and alarm. The scans showed only this single outpost. No cities, no infrastructure, no billions of inhabitants. "Could they be lying?" asked junior researcher Ket. "To what end?" replied Lyrax via their secure communication link. If they were technologically advanced enough to hide from us, why reveal this single outpost? Fleet Commander Dorn maintained his composed exterior, but inwardly he was deeply troubled. Something was very wrong here, and the instincts honed through centuries of military service were screaming warnings. "We would like to speak with your world leaders," he stated, watching carefully for the human's reaction. Amara nodded. "Of course. We've already sent word of your arrival. Representatives are being gathered for a formal meeting. Would you like to come inside our facility while we wait? We have many questions about your council and the galaxy beyond our world." The invitation seemed innocent enough, but it was another calculated move. The research station had been meticulously designed to reinforce the narrative of a modestly advanced civilization. Computer systems that appeared cutting-edge by public Earth standards, but primitive compared to alien technology. Scientific equipment that showed understanding of advanced principles without their full application. As the alien delegation entered the facility, sophisticated hidden sensors recorded and analyzed everything. Their biology, their technology, the composition of their environmental suits, and most importantly, how they interacted with humans and each other. Deep beneath the Ethiopian highlands, General Demisi watched the encounter unfold through the eyes of a dozen hidden cameras. "They're suspicious," he noted, but confused rather than hostile. "Perfect," replied Director Sokolov from his Siberian command center. "Confusion creates opportunities." Over the next several hours, Amara and her team engaged the aliens in carefully structured conversations, extracting information while appearing to simply satisfy their own curiosity about extraterrestrial life. They learned of the Galactic Council's structure, its dominant species, its technological hierarchy, and most importantly, its protocols for dealing with newly discovered civilizations. So Earth would be classified as a Category 3 developmental world? Amara asked innocently. "Based on our initial assessments, yes," Science Director Lyrax confirmed, his skin pulsing with academic enthusiasm. "Though your sudden disappearance from our sensors raises interesting questions, as does your reappearance," added Fleet Commander Dorn, less conversationally. The discussion was interrupted by the arrival of a small aircraft, deliberately chosen to be impressive by Earth standards, but unimpressive by galactic ones. From it emerged a multinational delegation of apparent world leaders, actually high-ranking members of Project Umbra trained extensively for this role. The United Earth diplomatic team that greeted the aliens projected exactly the image that Project Umbra wanted to convey. Intelligent, cautiously friendly, but technologically limited. They expressed appropriate awe at alien technology, while carefully steering conversations toward the Galactic Council's protocols and intentions. Throughout this orchestrated performance, the rest of Earth remained hidden, invisible to alien sensors, but watching with intense interest. Every bit of information gained was rapidly analyzed, every technological specimen scanned, every biological detail recorded. After 3 days of carefully managed interactions, the alien delegation prepared to depart with what they believed was a comprehensive understanding of human civilization, a promising but still developing species that had somehow experienced an anomalous sensor masking event, but was otherwise unremarkable. As Fleet Commander Dorn prepared to board his shuttle for the return to the Axiom, he paused, turning to Amara, who had been his primary contact throughout the visit. "There is something unusual about your species," he said, his reptilian eyes studying her with uncomfortable intensity. "I cannot quite identify what it is." Amara smiled politely. "We look forward to learning more about the galaxy and perhaps one day joining your council, Commander. Safe travels." As the alien shuttle ascended toward their orbiting vessel, Elena Vasquez watched from the Atacama facility with a mixture of satisfaction and relief. The first stage of controlled contact had gone exactly as planned. The aliens were departing with a carefully curated understanding of humanity, enough to satisfy their curiosity without revealing Earth's true capabilities. "Begin Phase 2, she ordered. Across the solar system, hidden facilities powered up. As the Axiom prepared to depart Earth orbit, Its sensors detected something new, a small spacecraft leaving Earth's atmosphere. Unlike the primitive chemical rockets the aliens had expected from such a civilization, this vessel used a rudimentary but functional gravitic drive system, technology that should have been centuries beyond human development. Aboard the Axiom, alarms spread rapidly. "Captain, a human vessel is approaching," reported the sensor officer. It's using technology that contradicts all our assessments of their capabilities." The small Earth vessel transmitted a simple message. "Greetings from Earth. We request permission to send a diplomatic delegation to your Galactic Council." In the council chambers, shock rippled through the assembled representatives as they reviewed the Axiom's reports. The humans had somehow developed gravitic drive technology, despite appearing to be centuries away from such capabilities. More disturbing was the implication. What other technologies might they have developed in secret? "This changes everything," declared Hymos Trellick. "A species that can mask its presence and make such technological leaps in isolation represents an unknown factor we cannot ignore." "Perhaps," suggested Director Celine thoughtfully, "they deserve a different classification than we initially assigned." As the debate raged in the council chambers, humanity's carefully selected diplomatic team journeyed toward the galactic core, carrying with them humanity's formal introduction to the interstellar community. Behind them, Earth remained partially hidden. Key military installations, advanced research facilities, and critical infrastructure still concealed behind the quantum displacement field. The day Earth went dark had marked not its end, but its emergence as a galactic power on its own terms. Humanity had changed the rules of first contact, revealing itself not as a primitive civilization to be guided or exploited, but as a species to be reckoned with, one that would define its own place among the stars. In the words Elena Vasquez shared with Project Umbra's leadership as they watched humanity's first true starship depart, "Today, we don't join the galaxy. The galaxy joins us."